Tarot cards. If you've watched JoJo's or played any of the Persona games, you might be familiar with this set of playing cards. You could also know them from their actual use, a game of faith reading through random picking and dropping of cards. For some reason, the past year of my life was surrounded by the presence of tarot cards. I found out that Atlus released Persona 3 Reload and got it as soon as I could. I'm still stuck getting through it, but I'm taking it slower this time. Also, my sister got obsessed with tarot cards and tarot reading, which led to some interesting interactions in the house. She began collecting some sets of cards, and I actually got inspired by the varied iterations of tarot card designs I'd seen, from JoJo's Part 3, Persona 5 and 3, and the sets my sister got, which honestly ended up being a little bit more of a scam for what she really wanted, which made me think, hey, maybe I can make my own set of cards. So yeah, like I said, this was about 30 weeks ago. I wanted to try and practice drawing a little more often, and decided to get some time out of my week to make one card every week, which also adds up to the past few weeks where I just took a huge rest from this exercise. So the way I'm going to handle this is with luck and Google Forms. I listed all of the major arcana cards, slapped them onto a wheel, and weekly tuned in to design the cards. It was the first content I made on Instagram that got some traction, but that doesn't mean they were all that good, as you can probably tell if you check out my Instagram and check my numbers. And for that, I want to rank my tarot card designs based on the level of commitment I had, the visualization of the meaning of each card, and the ranking given to them by my friends and family. And just let me tell you right now, my sister was not surprised with my designs. On our first wheel spin, we get the tower. So, first things first, I wanted to create this collection in which I would be making monsters and weird things. It's been a while since I've drawn weird eye-filled stuff, and I really like the style. So, for this, I just decided to interpret the tower as a weird deformed tall goblin. I also took some inspiration from another drawing I did for Inktober, the only time I participated. With this collection of eyes, my next focus is the mouth and weird expressions. Maybe add some tentacles, and I think we're done with the inking. So, let's color this goblin green and shade it accordingly. Since this is my first card, I wanted it to look nice, so I shaded with the color of the sun, but I quickly gave up on that for every other card. And we're done! Let's see how this card ranked. Alright, so I made a Google Forms to hand out to people and have them rank my cards on a scale of 1 to 5, or D to S. Then, after everyone's voted, I'll get the average of the response and objectively rank each card, taking me out of the equation and making this as fair as possible. On the list of people interviewed, we have my girlfriend, my sister, my 2 designer illustrator friends, and some extra people who got to see my stories about this ranking. So let's begin. For the tower card, the ranking goes this way. Out of the 7 people who answered, we got 3 giving it an S tier ranking. However, the remaining 4 divided themselves evenly, giving this card a C and a B tier. So after doing the math, we get that this card belongs in the B tier. This is quite interesting. I didn't imagine this card would be so average, but I mean, it doesn't have any symbolism or anything. But tell me, did you agree with this ranking? Write it down in the comments. Alright, coming fresh of getting something with more traction, I felt more inspired to outdo myself. Since this card was the Hermit and the original has just a guy, I decided to do my version of a Hermit craft. Don't look it up because I didn't. However, I'm also taking the idea of the cliff, so this Hermit watches over humanity atop the cliff with his many eyes, as well as hiding himself mostly in his shell, because he's shy. But that doesn't mean he is not dangerous. He's slowly building his nest of human skulls. He likes them for whatever reason you might like and is collecting them. The rest of the body sustains his days. I also gave him some tentacles, and yeah, I might have lost my creativity on this one here, but hey, here we are. Now, let's place it on the chart. We're only at the second card, and the rankings are all over the place. Out of the 7 voters, 3 gave it a B tier, 2 gave it an S tier, and the remaining 2 gave it both an A and D tier, skipping the C tier entirely. It's either ride or die. But let's average these rankings and place this card on D tier. Well, I think this is gonna be worse than I expected. This one was more complicated for me to conceptualize because, yeah, I know the magician is a magician, but I mean, readable magician designs don't read like monsters or odd creatures as much for me, so I went more abstract and thought of magic as the manipulation of the elements, and decided to make my magician the joint forces of nature gathered under our same conscience. We have fire, water, air, and earth, and my idea again is to use eyes. I know, I'm so creative and non-biased at all, but yeah, inside the eye, we have fire held inside air, controlling the water surrounding this little rock, rising rising from the ground. All of this being the magician's doing. And yeah, I detailed the water a lot. And yeah, I got flagged for that, mainly by my girlfriend. She just said she regrets the effort I put on such a barely visible detail. And yeah, I get her. My OCD does not. So yeah. Oh, I also added lighting in the back. It's still a form of fire, right? And the magician is done. Can't wait to see how it ranked. The magician got 3 S rankings, 2 A rankings, and 2 Cs. Couldn't dispute it, but honestly, this is yet to be the most controversial card. Anyways, this card belongs to B tier. Pretty good so far. However, am I going to be capable of getting a card to the S tier? Oh, the lovers. This is where I begin my first turn in my interpretation of the cards. Not because of this card, but rather the response. Let's face it, you hear the lovers, you think of a couple in love, like a human couple, I presume, but you do you. Anyways, you'll understand. They had to be humans and hold each other. You'll also understand they could be cursed as well. And now we have a concept. A couple of lovers consumed by their love. The original text I gave this card when publishing was, "Love unites us and multiplies." Hey, I had to justify the extra eyes and mouths somehow. Give me some credit. And also, yeah, I know, this is the same concept as Together. Great movie, by the way, totally loved it. However, I only learned about this movie after the card. Also, I just saw it about a month ago, couldn't watch it in the movies, but I think that's good. My girlfriend couldn't sleep after the movie, and at least she saved herself the uncomfortable trip back home. She was so disturbed. And this card captures the same feeling for her, which at least means I did something right regarding the colors. I tried to make their skin orange-ish, so there would be more of an idea of a weirder creature. No discernible human features other than faces and hands and purple eyes, because they don't exist as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, these should count as a monster or at least an odd creature. Well, like I said, the lovers feels quite controversial, but I hadn't tested it yet outside of my girlfriend. Let's hear the judges. We got 3 votes for S tier, 3 for A tier, and 1 for C. Pretty divided, but it's still not as controversial. Its final placement will be B tier. Jeez, this place is beginning to feel overcrowded. Let's hope I can turn it around fast. Yeah, like I said, last card wasn't as well received. Perhaps I was getting more abstract, which is why I went straight back to the basics. This card is very straightforward. It's the devil, so it should have a devil in it, and that should win us more people over in the popular opinion card. But of course, just having a devil won't cut it. We need deep symbolism, baby! So yeah, I went with gambling. Don't gamble with the devil, kids. This was very straightforward. You're at the slot machine, the level 1 interaction of gambling, and you get the devil. You can see that I replicated it because you won big time. You got the devil. Not many details here. I just want to express that while coloring, I wanted to keep the background, but I didn't feel like it made sense, so I just decided to cover it with this transparent white color so we could see it and also have the card centered fully on the theme. Right, like this card, I'm betting on this one getting a good ranking. Let's check. 4 votes for S, 2 for A, and 1 for B. Well, this is starting to look better for me. Let's see the final placement. A tier. Awesome! We're finally beginning to break free from the B tier at last. Yep. I know that this looks like justice, and well, let me just check the description. This card depicts what one would imagine the Last Judgment would be, in the various forms it takes in many mythologies. The image in the Judgment card shows women, men, and children who are rising from the grave to respond to Gabriel's drum call. Well, this is awkward. I knew I was wrong. Well, it seems like I might have mistaken the Judgment for the Justice card. Yeah, so I remember this. That day, I was a little too out of myself and I think I got confused. I might have gotten confused and just deleted the Judgment card. Also, I think I didn't really read this card and thought of Judgment as the idea of justice, you know? It's pretty obvious when you look at it. So yeah, my first screw up with these cards. But rest assured, this will be properly addressed after we rank all of the cards. Alright guys, no more jokes. Let's see how our judges judge the Judgment card. I regret making myself say that. I suck at tongue twisters. Anyways, we got 6 S votes, nice, and 1 A vote. Well, you can win them all, and I mean it. But that puts Judgment at our first S tier. Yeah guys, it's so uphill from here. Let's go! Alright, the Strength card was a good one. For once, I decided to properly read the description of the card before the fact. Let us read. In this tarot card, you will see a woman who calmly holds the jaws of a fully grown lion, despite the fact that the lion looks menacing and strong. The woman seems to have dominion over it. What is captivating is how gracefully she controls the lion. She's calm and collected, which is representative for being in control and disciplined, especially in times of great adversities. So, first notes here, a woman and a lion. Then, the lion represents the strength of the woman. And yeah, I guess that's all I got. As you saw from the lovers, I like mixing things up, like literally. So yeah, since the lion is the strength of the woman and they live in balance with each other, I just fused them into this monstrosity. Was this a bad idea? Maybe. I had to play it fast and loose with the skin color so everything works. I also added these tentacles of muscles because, well, you know, physical strength, muscles. I literally didn't know what else to add, so yeah. Maybe not my favorite, but let's see what the judges have to say. For this particular card, the judges have granted us 6 votes for the S tier and 1 for the C tier. Alright, jeez, somebody's after me. Whew, boy. No hate, no hate. Anyways, this encouraging C vote does not really get in the way of the final ranking, which is another S tier. And I mean, everybody liked it, minus one person. So let's move it along. Oh my, the star. What can I really tell you? I saw this and got excited. Many of my comments in these videos were about JoJo's, and obviously I need to do justice to, but well, my style is not good enough for this. All of my cards have a star at the back. I mean, the circle is a sun. A weird one, but a sun. And well, yeah, the sun is a star, so in order to keep canon and try to give some life to the star, I just made many stars, or suns if you will, and they watch over the planet because just having this empty space with just stars feels kinda dumb. And yeah, this is a card that got me my biggest criticism because I added a lot of detail in the planet and I'm actually proud. I still use these cards as a way to rest from work, however much they suck. I literally have no idea as to how to make this card more interesting, so I'll have to go back into the descriptions. Alright, let's begin with the bad votes. We got 2 votes for the C tier, which aren't that many, so I'm glad. Then we get 2 for the A tier and 3 for the S tier. Honestly, not bad for this card, but where does it land in the end of the real ranking? Well, sadly for us, it's going to get a B tier. Honestly, most people voted against the star than I thought. Sorry, buddy. The Chariot. What can I say? I didn't read the description of this card. However, here's my thought process. The Chariot has 2 horses pulling it, at least in the image that I saw. And I just thought, let's make some anomalous being made only of muscle, so the horses pulling this chariot are part of the same body of the being that's driving them. Not confusing at all, I promise. I'm taking the chariot as a shell rather than a mode of transportation. We can see that the chariot covers the sharp teeth of the creature as the eye pokes outward to guide the movement. The horses, quote unquote, lead the movement with certain independence as they have their own set of noses for guidance, and yeah. As a reference to the most epic JoJo character of parts 3 and 5, I decided to color the chariot silver. I feel pretty proud of this card. But what do the judges have to say? Did they agree with my opinion for this card? Let's read them. We got 3 votes for the B tier, 1 for the A tier, which honestly, let's give them some applause. They really wanted to go against the trends. And finally, we get 4 votes for the S tier, giving us final A tier. See? This guy is a visionary. Ask him for your lottery numbers, everyone. Alright, so this was probably the wildest card I made. Let's read the description first. In this card, it depicts a man who is suspended upside down and he's hanging by his foot from the living world tree. This tree is rooted deep down in the underworld and it is known to support the heavens. It is believed that the hanging man is actually positioned there by his own free will. So to begin, this card is supposed to have a man hanging from a tree. However, in the cards I've seen, I haven't seen a proper natural tree. If you know one, let me know. Also, a hanging man is kind of boring, so I thought I'd maybe make the tree have some life hanging from it. Like literally the tree is alive, but its eyes and mouth just hang. Yeah. I decided to just make a face because the description emphasizes the man's expression, so I mean, we need no more, right? Let's go to the ranking. Oh well, here we are. After watching this process, you can probably give me a pretty accurate ranking for this one, I'm pretty sure. So, how did you vote this card? I'll be reading the comments. But for now, our judges have found the most controversial card yet, with a whopping 1 vote for D tier, 1 vote for D tier and C tier, 2 for each B and A tier, and the final vote for S tier. Honestly, thank you for the ones who wanted to save its fate, especially for the voter of the S tier. However, it can't be saved. I'll admit, this is one of the worst cards yet, belonging to the D tier, and I totally understand why. But hey, we'll have to make this a learning experience for everyone. No more eyes dangling from trees. This was a hard one. The concept of the Fool is still confusing to me. I decided to make this an easier depiction by just taking the image of a harlequin of medieval times and theme it around playing cards. So this is going to be the Fool of Diamonds, made out of diamonds. And the reason why he's coming out of an egg is because of river, something like that. Let me look up the description real quick. The Fool depicts a Jupe walking joyfully into the world. Now here, he's taking his first steps and he is exuberant, joyful, excited. No, he carries nothing with him except a small sack, carrying nothing for the possible danger that lie in his path. Indeed, he is soon to encounter the first of these possible dangers, for if he takes just a step more, he will topple over the cliff that he is reaching, but this doesn't seem to concern him. What is this even? I promise there was something about new beginnings and rebirth and stuff like that. That's why I added the egg. Wait, here it is. The Fool generally means a beginning of a new journey, one where you will be filled with optimism and freedom from the usual constraints in life. There it is. It was in the card meaning, not the description. Well, this is awkward. I'll have to check which depiction is more important. Anyways, I have to stop fooling around. Alright, it's ranking time. Bear with me. We're halfway through the deck, so let's listen to the judges. What do y'all think? We got 2 votes for the C tier, 3 for the B tier, and 2 for the S tier. Okay. Seems like some of what it did really worked. However, it wasn't enough because we got a C tier.